Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's estimated that Australians lose more than $700 million a year in scams. $100 million alone in the search for love, friendship and romance. More and more Aussies are handing over money to complete strangers, usually overseas. And as Rodney Lowe reports, it's a criminal industry that's getting bigger by the day.
I feel like I've been used and abused by this man, which I have really.
Our biggest loss would be an individual that lost pretty much everything. They got others involved, and it's in over $10 million so far.
Oh, Rodney, I cried for weeks and weeks and weeks, huh? Terrible.
Paul Bellini and Melva Rundle are among the estimated 5,000 who get scammed every month by Nigerian and Ghanaian romance cons.
So I went to senior friend finders. There's older women and everything, apart from these ones from Ghana. They're all 28, 30-year-olds.
72-year-old Paul Bellini is a retired grazier from remote central Queensland. Devastated when his wife of 42 years, Nancy, died of a stroke 4 years ago, what followed was 2 years of bitter loneliness. For company, he turned to the internet, where he met this woman, Selena, from the West African country of Ghana.
What did you tell Selena about you?
Oh, everything. I lost my wife, how she died, what I did, you know. She wanted to know everything.
Paul didn't realise he was being groomed by a company of thieves. Then out of the blue came a phone call.
That she got hit by the car and she was having a brain hemorrhage, and the brother got in touch with me then that they needed $1,200 for the doctor to operate.
It went on for months, bleeding him for money, and eventually Paul even flew to Ghana, twice. There was no car crash, and from the original romance scam, he was roped into further scams of refining gold and processing butter for a Ghanaian village by two women, Emma, also known as Priscilla, and this woman, Amina. In total, he paid out in the vicinity of $200,000. All of it a con. But for every male victim, there are two females.
I'm barely surviving. Barely surviving. I can't even buy food.
Melva Rundle sent $6,000 to a man she thought she loved in South Africa, her life savings. Now she's not even sure if this is really him.
I don't think I'll ever meet him, to be honest. I really don't. But then again, it might surprise me. It might turn out to be real.
These scammers are very clever and they have extensive cookbook of scams.
Andrew Bolton owns and operates Cupid Media, a large worldwide online dating company. For him, it's a constant vigil to keep the scammers off his site.
We reject thousands of profiles in a week.
If you give you an idea, there's probably 500 people a month sending money to Nigeria from Queensland.
About 2,500 people nationally. Detective Superintendent Brian Hay says romance cons are booming business on the increase in Australia.
They're brilliant at social engineering. They will identify a person's vulnerabilities very quickly, and they're very patient.
And it's a huge mistake to think these countries are backward backwaters. Nigeria
is a wealthy, highly populated country with great infrastructure, great agriculture. It's got great universities, good education systems.
Australians send $4 million to scammers in Nigeria every month. We send another $4 million every month to the scammers in Ghana. And while it's hard to work out just how much these black market economies are worth, it's believed it could be as much as 10% of Nigeria's gross domestic product, about $400 million every year.
So we're talking about a network that spans 42 countries that we've identified so far.
Andrew Bolton has some simple advice for online dating site users.
I think it's very important not to just rely on communication by text-based chat or email. It's very important to talk on a webcam and with a microphone.
And it's okay to be secretive. Don't tell people too much about yourself.
Set up a separate email account just for online dating and make sure that the account name is something fairly generic rather than your real name.
And of course, use a reputable company. And under no circumstances ever send any money to anywhere to anyone. For Paul Bellini, this week's some success. Paul, with the help of Ghanaian officials, set up a sting operation, posting a fake ring and some jewellery to the woman who'd been fleecing him. Ghanaian police pounced when she and an accomplice came to collect them. This man, Albert Kayarima, and his cohort Priscilla Lawson were arrested in relation to defrauding Paul of $40,000. But that is just a drop in the bucket. Paul believes more than a dozen people were involved in scamming him, and there are thousands more doing the same to victims across the country.
I'm broken-hearted because of my wife, not because of them. The only thing that I feel hurt about is that I haven't been able to help that village. And I don't want any money if we catch these blokes and sell their assets. I want the money to go to the village.
And you can let us know if you've been caught in a similar scam. Just drop us a line on our website. That was Rodney Lowe's with that report.